Good day, everyone. I am Dr. Tolentino, and this afternoon I'm going to discuss about muscle histology. Okay, so there are three types of muscle tissue: the skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and smooth muscle. So although the different types of muscular tissues, they share some properties, but they differ from one another in their microscopic anatomy, their location, and how they are controlled by your nervous and endocrine systems. So all muscle tissue consists of elongated cells called your muscle fibers. So when I say muscle fibers, it means that they are your muscle cells. So they are filled with smaller bundle of parallel fibers in its cytoplasm. So you can see these are the smaller bundles of fibers inside the cytoplasm of the muscle fiber. These are called your myofibrils. Okay, so the cytoplasm is called your sarcoplasm and your cell membrane is called your sarcolemma. Okay, remember the structure of your muscle cell or your muscle fiber. Okay, so the skeletal muscles have connective tissue investments or coverings which function to separate the muscle into different compartments and to transmit the force of contraction to the muscle insertion point. So basically, these coverings organize your muscle. They separate the muscle into different compartments. They protect the muscle and they strengthen the muscle. Okay, so the three layers of connective tissue extend from the fascia to protect and strengthen your skeletal muscle. So there are three components. So first, there is the epimysium. The entire muscle is surrounded by a dense, irregular connective tissue called your epimysium. So epi means upon, and it rests upon the muscle to become its outer layer. And it blends with the deep fascia and the tendon. So it's continuous with your tendon and deep fascia. It becomes your epimysium, which covers the entire muscle. Okay. Next, a less dense and thinner irregular connective tissue called your perimysium. This is your perimysium. Okay? It extends into the muscle and divides the interior of your muscle into smaller bundles of muscle fibers called your fascicles. So it surrounds a group of muscle fibers. So these are your muscle fibers. It surrounds a group of your muscle fibers. It's called the perimysium. And this bundle, in this group of muscle fiber covered by your perimysium is called your fascicles. Okay? So lastly, a thin layer of reticular connective tissue called your endomysium. Endo means within. So it covers the individual muscle fibers. Okay? So again, epimysium right here is a dense connective tissue surrounding your entire muscle. So it blends with the deep fascia and the tendon, okay? So epimysium right here, epimysium, covers the entire muscle. Perimysium, also dense connective tissue, but less dense than your epimysium, okay? It's thinner than your epimysium and it covers a group of your fibers, group of muscle fibers. So here are muscle fiber, and surrounding it is a perimysium. And this group of muscle fiber surrounded by your perimysium is called what again? It is called your fascicle. Okay, so your endomysium right here is made up of reticular connective tissue surrounding each muscle fiber. So one muscle fiber right here is surrounded by your endomysium. Okay, epimysium it connects or it blends with the deep fascia. It's continuous with your tendon and deep fascia. It surrounds your whole muscle. Perimysium surrounds bundles of muscle fiber called fascicles, and endomysium surrounds individual muscle fibers. Okay, again, this is a tissue section showing the coverings of your muscle. So the epimysium here surrounds the entire muscle. The perimysium extends inwards to divide the interior of the muscle into small bundles called your fascicles. So it groups your muscle fibers into these bundles called the fascicles. So okay, so this is the perimysium. and the endomysium covers your individual muscle fiber. Okay. So again, epimysium right here, the outermost covering, it's a dense connective tissue, surrounds your entire muscle. Your perimysium right here, also dense connective tissue but thinner, surrounds a group of your muscle fibers. So this is one muscle fiber, one muscle fiber, one muscle fiber. This group of muscle fibers surrounded by your perimysium is called your fascicle, and this is one muscle fiber and it's surrounded by the endomysium. Okay. So the first type of skeletal muscle, the first type of muscle tissue we will discuss is your skeletal muscle. So it is voluntary, which means you can move it out of your free will. So unlike those that move automatically like the heart, which are called involuntary muscle. Okay? So this voluntary muscle, they will move if you want them to move. Okay? So it is made of long cylindrical muscle fibers. So your cardiac muscle is also made of cylindrical fibers, but they are shorter. Remember, long cylindrical fibers looks like a cylinder, okay? They have many nuclei, which are found at the periphery of each muscle fiber. So remember, they are multinucleated and have peripheral nuclei. Okay. Again, each muscle fiber or each muscle cell is composed of smaller fibers or subunits in its cytoplasm, okay? And they are called your myofibrils, okay? So these myofibrils extend the entire length of the muscle, okay? So in turn, these myofibrils also have smaller myofilaments, which are made up of contractile proteins called your actin and myosin. So I will show you a picture of them later. Okay. So also know that skeletal muscles have cross striations. So they are called striated muscles. Look at here, they have striations or stripes, dark band, light band, dark band, light band. So that is why they are called your striated muscles. So I will explain why they have striations later. So again, why the skeletal muscles have striations? It is because of the arrangement of your myofilaments, the actin and the myosin filaments in your sarcomeres. So these sarcomeres are functional subunits of your contractile apparatus. So more about the sarcomere and the contractile apparatus in the lecture. So now let's just focus on the structure of your muscle fiber. So this diagram shows that each muscle fiber contains several parallel bundles called myofibrils, and each myofibrils have their filaments. They have myofilaments inside. So each myofibril consists of a long series of these sarcomeres containing thick myosin and thin actin filaments, which overlap in certain regions. So they overlap in this region, which makes it dark. Okay, so this molecular organization of your sarcomeres produce the staining differences. The dark staining A band, which are the overlapping thick and thin filaments, and the light staining I bands, which are made up of your thin filaments only. So this is your A band. Here, where actin and myosin overlap, this is your I band, where there is only the thin actin filament, so it's not dark. Okay, so as you can see, right here, it's seen as striations in your light microscopy. Okay, so you can see here, there are dark staining A bands, light staining I bands, dark light, dark light. So these are called your striations, and the muscle is called striated muscles. Okay. So the tongue is made up of voluntary skeletal muscles. So it has many layers of muscles which are oriented longitudinally or circularly. So a cut section, okay, you cut this tongue. A cut section reveals muscles oriented longitudinally and transversely. So the muscles that are going towards me are cut. So this is the cross section. Okay, so in this image, you can appreciate the characteristic histologic appearance of your skeletal muscles. So note in the longitudinally oriented muscle, You can see that they are long, they are cylindrical, they have striations. Oh, you can see the striations here, but I will show you a picture, a clearer picture later. And they are multinucleated. There are many nuclei. Okay, and in the cross section, you can see better that they have peripheral nuclei. So they have nuclei around their muscle cells and none in the middle of the fiber. So I will show you a clearer picture later. Okay. Again, this is the tongue. You can see they have many layers of skeletal muscles. So they have many muscles, latoglossus, the styloglossus, all the muscles of the tongue, and they are oriented either longitudinally or circularly. Okay, so in the longitudinal section, you can see they are long, cylindrical, and they have striations, and they are multinucleated. Look at the letter N. They are pointed, many nuclei. Okay. So in the cross section, you can see better that they have peripheral nuclei. So look at in this picture, the nuclei are in the sides of the muscle, none in the middle. Okay. So when you see a cross section of the muscle with peripheral nuclei, always think that this is your skeletal muscle. Okay. Again, a cross-section of your skeletal muscle. Okay, note the characteristic appearance of the skeletal fibers. Okay, they are long, cylindrical. They look like cylinders, and they have many nuclei. They are multinucleated, and you can see clearly the striations. Okay, they look like they have stripes. So in this image, the striations are emphasized. Again, they are striated because of the arrangement of your actin and myosin filaments. So again, at the A bands or the dark bands is where they overlap. Your thick myosin and your thin actin filament overlap, so they become dark. Okay, while your I bands only have thin actin filaments, your I bands are your light bands. Okay, so they are seen as striations in light microscopy. Okay, so this is a skeletal muscle cross-sectional view. You can see the investments again of the muscle, okay, or the coverings. So the blue arrows point your epimysium, the outermost connective tissue surrounding the entire muscle. Your green or your cyan arrows are points to your perimysium. So it extends inwards from your epimysium and covers a bundle or a group of muscle fibers, which is called a fascicle. So this bundle surrounded by your perimysium is called your fascicle. So again, so the next, this yellow arrow pointing to the edges of your individual muscle fiber is the covering called the endomysium. So your endomysium surrounds the individual muscle fiber, endomysium. Okay. Again, a very close, a very high magnification cross-sectional view. You can see this is an individual muscle fiber, and the structure pointed by the yellow arrows is the covering of the individual muscle fiber, which is the, what again? The endomysium. Okay, I repeated this over and over, so I hope you can identify it in the examination. So the blue arrows point to your peripheral nuclei. So you must immediately think that if you see a cross-section of the muscle with peripheral nuclei, automatically think that this is a skeletal muscle. Okay, again, this is a longitudinal view of skeletal muscle. You can see that they are multinucleated, located in the periphery, peripheral nuclei. This is one muscle cell. It is long cylindrical muscle fiber. It has striations, dark and light bands. Okay, and this is the endomysium, the covering of your individual muscle fiber. Okay. The next type of muscle is the cardiac muscle. It occurs only in the heart and to some extent the root of the great vessels like the aorta when they join the heart. Okay, but basically it's only found in the heart. So it is involuntary, which means it moves automatically and they cannot be moved with conscious control. So the heart beats as long as we live, and it doesn't tire or rest, and it does not need to be willed or instructed to move. It will just automatically move. Okay. It is also cylindrical like your skeletal muscle, but they are shorter, and its fibers are branching. Okay. So this is one muscle fiber, one muscle fiber, one muscle fiber. So this is a cell, one muscle cell, and they are joined end to end by anchoring junctions, anchoring cell junctions called what? Called the intercalated discs. Okay, very important. Remember these intercalated discs. They join your short muscle fibers end to end. Okay, so also notice that the fibers are branching. Okay, so since the cells are joined by these anchoring junctions, which are called the intercalated discs, so what are inside these intercalated discs? Okay, so the intercalated discs contain desmosomes and gap junctions. So gap junctions in the intercalated discs, they link the adjacent muscles so that the electrical impulse can travel between cells fast, okay? So there are canals that allow the muscle, that allow the electrical impulse to travel fast. So the muscle can contract almost simultaneously. And they have also gap junctions to anchor the cells together. Okay, so they exhibit one or two central nuclei. Central nuclei. Central nuclei, one or two central nuclei. Okay, it's different from the skeletal muscle which have peripheral nuclei. Okay, it is also a striated muscle. You can see the stripes or the striations. Okay, I've already explained why they have striations. Okay, so this is a tissue section of your heart. You can see they have also cylindrical fibers, but they are shorter. So this is one muscle fiber, one muscle fiber. Okay, and they look like they are branching. They look like they are branching right here. Okay, so they are shorter and branching. Okay, the skeletal muscle is longer and non-branching. Okay, so it is also a striated muscle. You can see the striations right here. Okay, okay, they are labeled S, your striations. Striations, okay. So they also exhibit one or two central nuclei. Central nuclei, okay? The difference of the skeletal muscle is that its nuclei is located at the outside or the periphery, okay? So the muscle fibers join end to end by the intercalated discs, okay? Can see, you automatically see intercalated discs, you automatically think of the heart. Okay, again, the intercalated discs are made up of what? Desmosomes to anchor the cells together and gap junctions to unify the cells when they contract. Okay, so when you see a structure of this cardiac muscle, you can identify the branching, the short muscle fibers connected by your intercalated disc. Very important, these intercalated discs. You immediately think of the cardiac muscle, and you automatically think the organ is the heart. Okay, so when I show this tissue to you, you know that this is a cardiac muscle tissue. So when I say identify the organ, you say it is the heart. Okay, so cardiac muscle cells, again, have central nuclei. They are myofibrils, which are usually sparser and less organized than your skeletal muscle. So they have fainter striations. They are still striated, but their myofibrils are not organized like your skeletal muscle. They are less organized, so they have fainter striations. Okay. Also, the cells are branching and anastomosing. Okay. So allowing the fibers to interweave in a more complicated arrangement. Okay. So they help, so this arrangement, this weaving arrangement, help produce an efficient contraction mechanism for the emptying of your heart. Okay. So the fibers are actually separate cells joined by your intercalated discs. This is one cell, joined by your intercalated discs. Okay. The transverse region of your intercalated discs have desmosomes for firm adhesion, while longitudinal regions are filled with gap junctions to unify the muscle contraction. Okay, so this may look like a cross-section of the skeletal muscle at first, but actually this is a tissue section of the heart. You can tell the difference because you can see that when you cut through the cardiac muscle in cross-section, you can see that they have one or two central nuclei. Okay, so when you see central nuclei inside one cell or inside one muscle fiber, automatically think that this is not skeletal muscle. It is cardiac muscle. Okay, so also note in the cross-section of muscles that not all parts have nuclei. Some nuclei are in the front of the cell or the back of the cell. So when you cut through the middle of the cell, you can only find a few nuclei. Okay. So not all the nuclei might be captured in the cut section. But you can see that they have central nuclei. So automatically think this is a cardiac muscle and not skeletal muscle. Okay. So let's compare cardiac versus skeletal muscle. Your cardiac muscle have central nuclei and your skeletal muscle have peripheral nuclei. So their nuclei are at the sides. Meanwhile, at the cardiac muscle, they are at the center. Okay. Next, again, this is a longitudinal muscle section of your heart, of your cardiac muscle. Their fibers are shorter. Okay, this is one muscle fiber joined by your intercalated discs labeled with your black arrows. Okay, they are branching, and they have striations, one or two central nuclei and intercalated discs. So when you see intercalated discs, automatic, it is a cardiac muscle. Okay, and automatic, the organ is the heart. Okay, so in the heart also, there are modified cardiac muscle cells. So they are specialized myocardial fibers. So they function as part of the conduction system of your heart. They are thicker and larger than your cardiac muscles. And they look paler because they have more glycogen and they have few organelles and few myofibrils. So why do they have few myofibrils? Because they are not specialized for muscle contraction, but their function is for impulse conduction. Okay, so they don't need more myofibrils. So they function for impulse conduction and not muscle contraction. Okay, so they are located beneath your endocardium. Very important, they are located beneath the endocardium, the subendocardium. So they branch throughout the myocardium and they function to deliver continuous waves of stimulation from the atrial nodes to the rest of the heart through gap junctions. So they have many gap junctions between them. So again, these gap junctions function as canals that allow the allow the electrical impulse to travel fast from one muscle cell to another. Okay, so the stimulation of these Purkinje fibers produce ventricular contractions and the ejection of blood from your ventricular chambers. So that is how the heart pumps. Okay. So there are like the wirings of your heart, the electrical wirings of your heart, that when they are stimulated, they stimulate also the muscles to contract. Okay? So they are modified cardiac myocytes again. So they are thicker and larger than your myocytes, your cardiac muscles. So they are bigger. They contain a great amount of glycogen and few contractile elements. So they are paler. So they don't have myofibrils. They are paler than your cardiac tissue. Look here, it's very dark and your Purkinje fibers are very big and pale. Okay? So they are located under your endocardium, beneath the endocardium or the subendocardial layer. Subendocardium is where you can find your Purkinje fibers. Okay, so in the ventricles, there is the subendocardial layer. So this is your endocardium. This is the heart chamber. This is your endocardium, the lining of the heart, the innermost lining. And under that is connective tissue, subendocardial connective tissue, which surrounds your Purkinje fibers labeled letter P. So they are modified cardiac muscle cells joined by intercalated discs, but are specialized for impulse conduction and not your contraction, okay? So they contain many glycogen and few organelles and myofibrils. So they are pale staining. They look pale. And this is your heart muscle. This is your heart muscle. And they are paler than your heart muscles, okay? So they are pale staining. Okay, these are your Purkinje fibers. So this is your endocardium. This is the subendocardial layer. Okay, so I hope you got that, because I might point this. So what are these muscles? What are these cells? Again, sorry. What are these cells? You notice that they are pale and big, and they are under the endocardium, and they are different from your cardiac myocytes or cardiac muscles because they are big and pale staining. They are your Purkinje fibers. Okay. The last type of muscle tissue is the smooth muscle. So it is widely distributed, predominantly in the linings of your hollow organs like your uterus, your intestines, also found in your blood vessels. So they are elongated with fusiform shape. Okay? So fusiform, which means they look like spindles like these. Okay? So they are grouped in slender bundles called your fascicles. So they are grouped together in these bundles called your fascicles. So you can notice that the smooth muscle cells have very little connective tissue in between them. So you almost cannot distinguish one cell from each other. So these muscles, again, these muscle fibers are spindle shaped. They look like this. So which allow them to tightly interlace. So they are stuck together in this arrangement. Okay? So this arrangement helps them to unify their action when they contract. So they are very close to each other. There is less connective tissue, so they can contract efficiently together. Okay. So the fibers again are small with central nucleus located midway within the fiber, midway along the fiber. It's always in the center of the fiber where it is the widest. Okay, so the fibers again have single central nucleus. It is also non-striated because of the irregular distribution of your sarcomeres, unlike the organizations of the sarcomeres in your skeletal muscles and the cardiac muscles. So these contractile elements are arranged in the cytoplasm in very haphazard way, random way. So so there are no striations. Okay, they do not overlap regularly. So it's arranged almost randomly inside the cytoplasm. So there are no striations. Okay, so that's why they are called smooth muscles. They look smooth because they have no striations. Okay, this is an H&E stained longitudinal section of your smooth muscles. Single central nucleus midway along the fiber, which is spindle shaped. Okay, and the cytoplasm appears homogeneous or smooth because it has no striations. Okay, this is a longitudinal section of your smooth muscle. I can see again, it is elongated with fusiform shape. They are spindle shaped. So they are so tightly packed, you almost cannot distinguish one muscle fiber from the other. So the fibers are small with central nucleus located midway along the fiber. Okay, that is non-striated, so that's why it looks smooth. You can see there are no striations. Okay, so since this is a smooth muscle also, but it's a cross section. Since the nucleus is located midway along the fiber, most cross sections of the fibers will not pass through the nucleus. Okay, so since they are arranged like this, and some of the nuclei are in the middle of the fiber elsewhere, okay? So this is not the middle of this cell, this is not the middle of this cell, but this is the middle of this cell. And in the middle of each cell or each fiber, you can see the individual nucleus, okay? This is single nucleus, okay? Most cross sections of the fibers will not pass through the nucleus because they are arranged this way, okay? So again, they have one nucleus located at the middle of the fiber. So it is smooth because it has no striations. It has pink cytoplasm. The cells are spindle-shaped and tightly packed, very tightly packed. Okay? They have less connective tissue in between, so you almost cannot distinguish one cell from the other. On the right is a smooth muscle tissue, longitudinal and cross-sectional. So you can see the cross-section here, and this is a longitudinal view. Okay. So let us compare the skeletal versus cardiac versus smooth muscle. So it may be hard to distinguish at first, but I will teach you how. Okay. So your skeletal muscle, when they are all in cross-section, it's hard to distinguish, but I will tell you how to distinguish. Okay, so first, the skeletal muscle, they are multinucleated. You can see many nucleus in the periphery. Okay, so the many nucleus are in the side of the cells, not in the middle. So when you see this, when you see they are at the side and none in the middle, it must be skeletal muscle. The cardiac muscle also has one or two nuclei, but they are in the center. Okay, and but you can see that the smooth muscle also has one nuclei at the center. But how do you differentiate them? Okay, so in the longitudinal section, you can see that this is striated. The cardiac muscle is striated, and the smooth muscle is not striated. But you cannot see the striations in the cross section. So how do you compare them? Okay, so in the cross sections, we can't see the striations, but how I remember the smooth muscles is they have very few intervening connective tissue and the cells are very tightly packed. Compared to this, they have central nuclei, but they have many connective tissue and the cells are not tightly packed. These smooth muscle cells have central nuclei, like your cardiac muscle, but the arrangement of the muscle cells, they are tightly packed. There is no intervening connective tissue almost. Okay, so that's why the cells are hard to distinguish from each other, very close to each other. Cells are very far from each other. So I hope that you can recognize skeletal versus cardiac versus smooth muscles in the cross section because I might ask this in the exam. Okay, so a unique feature of your smooth muscle is the presence of the inchworm nucleus. So this appearance is caused by the crisscrossing of the myofilaments in the cytoplasm, deforming the nucleus during the contraction. So like I said earlier, the myofilaments of your smooth muscle cells, the myofibrils, are not organized in a straight pattern or in a parallel pattern like your skeletal muscle. So they are haphazardly arranged in the cytoplasm. So they are arranged randomly in the cytoplasm. So when they contract, they might deform your nucleus. So the nucleus gets hit by these randomly arranged fibers and they are deformed when they contract. So say they deform your nucleus. So this nucleus do not look rounded, but look folded like your inchworm. Okay, so that's, again, when you see this deformed or folded nucleus, your inchworm nucleus, when they are present, in the absence of striations, are good identifiers of your smooth muscle in longitudinal section. So you can see this in the cross section, only in the longitudinal section. You can see that the nucleus might be folded. Okay, inchworm nucleus, smooth muscle. Okay, you can see folded, folded, folded. Okay, not rounded. I hope you got that. Okay, so where is this smooth muscle distributed? They are widely distributed. They can be found in your blood vessel walls, in their tunica media, okay, in the walls of the gastrointestinal tract, which is found either in the muscularis mucosae, a small layer, and majority of them is found in the muscularis propria, okay, made up of smooth muscles. Also, they are found in the uterus, which make up the thickest layer called your myometrium, full of smooth muscles. Okay. So smooth muscles is found within the walls of your hollow organs like your small intestine in the gastrointestinal tract. So it has four major layers: the mucosa, which is composed of your epithelium, the lamina propria, made of connective tissue under your, your epithelium right here. The mucosa is made up of your epithelium, your lamina propria, and your muscularis mucosa. So this muscularis mucosa is a small layer of smooth muscles under your epithelium, okay? So it's in the lamina propria, okay? So this is made up of smooth muscles also. You have a submucosa right here. And the next layer is the muscularis propria, where most of your smooth muscle cells can be found. And they are oriented in different directions. And also you have this adventitia, okay? So the smooth muscles can be found in the muscularis mucosa. Again, this small layer of smooth muscles or muscles in your mucosa. Muscularis mucosa, and as well as in the muscularis propria. Majority or the big portion of your smooth muscles are here in the muscularis propria, which has fibers oriented circularly inside and longitudinally outside. So remember, inner circular and outer longitudinal muscle layers, ILOC. Okay, so this image shows a cross-section of your small intestine. Okay, similarly, your large intestine has four layers, with majority of the smooth muscle, again, found in the muscularis propria. Okay, there is also a thin layer of smooth muscle cells in the muscularis mucosae, part of your mucosa, but the majority is in the muscularis, okay, where it is in different oriented in different directions, inner longitudinal and outer circular. Okay. So the next organ is the uterus. It is a pear-shaped organ with a thick muscular wall. So these muscles are made up of smooth muscles. So it has three layers: your endometrium, or the innermost layer lined by your simple columnar epithelium. Your myometrium is made up of this smooth muscles. It is the intermediate layer made up of smooth muscles. And the perimetrium, or the outermost connective tissue layer. Okay, so you can see it here because the uterus is such a big organ, and this image is just the intermediate layer of your myometrium. So this myometrium is the thickest layer of your uterus. It shows bundles of smooth muscle cells. So the smooth muscle forms interwoven layers in different directions. They are in different directions and they are interwoven. So this helps in the forceful contractions of your uterus. Okay. So during pregnancy, the myometrium grows by hyperplasia, or increasing the number of cells, and by hypertrophy, or increasing the size of the cells. So in general, in pregnancy, the myometrium grows and increases in size, okay? It increases the numbers of cells and increases the size of the cells, okay? So it contracts forcefully during childbirth to expel the baby from the uterus. So that is the function of your myometrium. So after the pregnancy, the uterus will shrink and return to its pre-pregnancy size. So it will return to its original small size, okay? So this is another tissue section of your uterus. So you will see smooth muscles being oriented in different directions, some longitudinal and some transverse, or you can see the cross-section of your muscle cells. You can see the cells are very tightly packed, non-striated, single nuclei in the middle, very tightly packed cells. non-striated, spindle shape. Okay? So this is a smooth muscle inside your myometrium. Okay, so to the left is a diagram of the uterus and to the right is a tissue section. So when you see an endometrial layer, endometrium, and with a myometrium under it, a layer of smooth muscles, very thick smooth muscles, know already that this is a uterus. Okay, endometrium, epithelium of your uterus, myometrium, intermediate muscle cell layer, smooth muscle cell layer, very thick myometrium. Okay, know already that this is the uterus. So when I ask the type of muscle that is inside your myometrium, what is the answer? It is smooth muscle. Okay, and when I say identify this organ, you see endometrium and myometrium. Know already this is the uterus. Okay. Again, what is the type of muscle cell in the myometrium of the uterus? It is smooth muscle. So remember that because I might ask that in the examination. So in summary, the skeletal muscles are voluntary with long cylindrical and branched cells, no branching, okay? They are multinucleated, many nuclei, many peripheral nuclei, none in the middle of the fiber, okay? And they have light and dark bands, so they are striated. Okay, sorry. Your cardiac muscles are involuntary with short cells, cylindrical. They also are cylindrical, but they are branching cells. Branching, okay. They are uni or binucleated, one or two nuclei, but in the center of the cell with central nuclei. Okay, so they have intercalated discs, which joins your short muscle fibers end to end. So it joins your muscle fibers. These intercalated discs, very, very, very identifying of your cardiac muscles. When you see these intercalated discs, automatically think cardiac muscles. Okay, and they are also striated. Okay, smooth muscle cells are also involuntary with spindle-shaped cells, fusiform-shaped cells, and they have one nucleus. They are uninucleated, and their nucleus is in the center of the cell, central nuclei, like your cardiac muscle. But they are non-striated and they don't have light and dark bands. So remember these pictures, these three pictures, okay? Because I might ask you to identify them in the exam. Just memorize the pictures and know the characteristics of each muscle cells, okay? So this is just a summary of everything that we have discussed. So I hope you learned something today and I hope you study because if you study, the exam will be very easy. I will just be getting questions from the ones that I have discussed. Okay? So happy studying, happy learning. Okay? Goodbye.